gonna talk to you today about current events that have happened in South Africa. I'm just now started to go live, so just everybody just hang on. Hang on 1 second. Just doing all this on my mobile devices, so just hang on. So just hang on 1 second. Go ahead and copy the link and. Hang on 1 second. Something I apologize about that. Just hang on 1 second. Okay, so there you go. Two of you guys have already tuned in. China and South Africa back in 2020, just last year, signed 93 trade deals, and it was 93 trade deals worth worth 1.7 billion dollars. Okay, it was 93 trade deals worth $1.7 billion, and it was a one-sided trade deal. Okay, when the YouTube channel China Uncensored has an amazing video about that, and I'm going to post that later on in the stream. But I'm going to go ahead and get my stream copied to certain groups. Okay. And welcome you guys who have attended. Chris White will be streaming in about another hour, in about 30 minutes, and I'm going to go about 30 minutes, and then I recommend that you guys check out Chris's Night Owls edition, but I'm going to go ahead and post it on the top chat, on the chat right here, and type in streaming at the moment. Okay, here we go. Okay, so go back to the trade deals. Okay, China gets minerals from South Africa, so they're depleting South Africa of their minerals. They're not bringing in any. They're not hiring African workers. They're bringing in all their workers from China. And here's what South Africa basically gets from China. They get manufactured goods. And you guys see here, I had Mexican food. I had Mexican food for lunch, and you see that right there. Just my apologies. And the Chinese, and I'm wearing Chris's Indaba Africa shirt, so there you guys go. Okay, China is basically screwing South Africa over, okay? And the agreements are in favor of China, and let me explain this, okay? As I said, they're depleting South Africa of all their minerals and all their diamonds, and they're bringing in all their workers from China. They're not hiring South African workers. But in turn, they're giving manufactured goods to South Africa. But what that's doing is it's putting a lot of South African workers, and it's putting a lot of South African factories out of business. So that's what's going on. The deals are largely in favor of China, and China is not allowing South African students to criticize them. There was one South African student who applied to go study in China, but he was denied a visa, and the Chinese government basically said he's going to be denied his student visa until he starts becoming more pro-Beijing, until his papers start praising the Chinese government a lot more. And then in South Africa, you guys have your 5G, not from AT&T like we have in the United States. Cameron Engelbrett says, hello, Brett. Hello, Cameron. Nice to see you again. Hope you are doing well. But you guys' 5G is from Huawei, and Huawei is basically a Chinese spy network that's owned by the Chinese government. Also, many South African policemen are getting trained by the Chinese police, also the South African Secret Service, and all of Sir Ramaphosa's henchmen. So the opposition is going to be monitored by a lot of this Huawei network that is being bought by the ANC government. And I would not put it past the ANC government coming to some of you guys' houses in the middle of the night with Chinese trained policemen that were trained by China, and throwing you, and taking you guys out of the house. That's what it's looking like. And Shelly Zhang from the from the YouTube channel China Uncensored, who is critical of the Chinese government, when she went to South Africa and landed at the airport in Johannesburg, she saw all kind of pro-China and pro-Beijing signs all over the airport. Hold on, just get to the chat right here. Okay, Liam Prentice says, hiya, Brett, I've subbed. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks to all who've subscribed. I've got about 911 subscribers right now. So what do you guys think about the ties between China and South Africa? Has the situation in South Africa gotten better for you since Cyril Ramaphosa has signed 93 trade deals with China, or has it gotten worse? Cameron Engelbrecht says 5G is a radio wave. It does nothing to humans. The Huawei has monitored opposition policy in several countries, and the Chinese government uses it as a tool to monitor their own people. They also do that with WeChat as well, and they also, to be honest with you, do that with TikTok. The reason Trump wanted to ban TikTok is because the Chinese government gets a lot of the people's information when they have TikTok. Cameron Engelbrecht said, Brett, I also sub, could I what, Cameron? The sentence was cut off. Just hang on one second. So, yeah, thank you guys both for subscribing. Thanks for the 5 people who have tuned in. I have 2 likes as well. I'm going to go about 20, 30 minutes, but ask you guys, what do you guys think about the deep ties between China and South Africa? Have they been more positive since China has brought a lot of investment? Right now, China is South Africa's #1 trading partner, and right now, China is South Africa's #1 foreign investor. And recently, Cyril Ramaphosa praised Xi Jinping and called him the most powerful man on earth. And when Trump was president, that was absolutely not true. Donald Trump was the most powerful man on earth, and he got our unbalanced trade with China under control. We had a massive trade deficit with China, and the farm products that China didn't have that we traded with them and shipped to them, Trump put huge tariffs on those products. And I'm sorry, the imports from China, Trump put huge trade tariffs on what we import from China, and it was and it helped. It helped put a lot. The U.S. factories stopped outsourcing their jobs to China, and the U.S. More U.S. workers were able to keep their jobs. So standing up to China worked, and it was a good situation for President Trump. So I think Ramaphosa's approach to China is just not the most intelligent or the most correct thing to be having right now. And also, if you guys get get health care, please go to the private healthcare facilities. What I recently had read, due to the COVID crisis, a lot of South Africa's public hospitals are facing a severe nursing shortage right now. Lee Prentice said Ramaphosa really sucks, just destroying this whole country. Really, yes. South Africa's currency is in junk status right now, and it was in junk status under Zuma, but it's still in junk status under Ramaphosa, and it shows no sign of getting out of junk status. And since they implemented the expropriation of land and property without compensation, a lot of foreign investors, except for China, are very, very scared to invest in South Africa at the moment, and the unemployment rate in South Africa is at right now about 50%. Statistics say it may be higher, it may be closer to 60. So yeah, Ramaphosa has not done a good job running the country. But back to the hospitals, the South African public hospitals are facing a severe nursing shortage right now. Many of the nurses have been combating the COVID-19, but because they've been in the hospitals for several hours, because there's such a nursing shortage, many nurses have caught the COVID-19 and are in quarantine. And then the nurses that have been lucky to not catch the COVID-19, a lot of them are very overworked. So if you guys can afford it, please, please, please go to a private healthcare facility in South Africa. And I wanted to talk about the bad investments that China is making for South Africa. It's a one-sided deal, and they're depleting all your minerals, and they're not hiring South African workers to go in there and mine those minerals. So it's not helping South Africa's employment as well. And when they build soccer stadiums in South Africa or rugby stadiums, they're going to be bringing in their workers from China. They're not going to be hiring South African workers to build those stadiums. And China may build those at no cost, but they want to have access to South Africa's harbors. Recently, about a year or so ago, South Africa, Russia, and China did a joint naval exercise together, and South Africa's key location where the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean meet, that's an important trade area. And the ANC could be in cahoots with Russia and China to try to block a lot of trade from the West, and try to choke the West economy. Because Ramaphosa defended his decisions to get the 5G from Huawei and not AT&T, and he took several stabs at the United States to do so. Now, Chris White did a video on Lana Marks. Lana Marks is the U.S. ambassador to South Africa, and I think Lana Marks sucks as ambassador to as U.S. ambassador to South Africa. She's got a lot of business sense. She was born in South Africa and became a very successful business lady in the United States, and then applied to be ambassador to South Africa, and she came back and is now U.S. ambassador. Now, she had COVID-19 recently, and she caught a really bad strain of it, but she has recovered. She was sick for 2 weeks, and I'm glad she did not die from the COVID-19. However, she has been a bad ambassador to South Africa from the United States. She refuses to investigate the farm murders. Random question, what do I think of WWE? When I was in middle school, I really liked wrestling. But since I've been outside of middle school, I haven't really watched it much. I used to really love it, but I haven't watched it in forever. But Lana Marks succumbed to COVID, but recently now, she's probably going to be ambassador much longer because Joe Biden's going to be president. And that's one thing positive I'm glad that's going to happen, that she's not going to be ambassador anymore, because she's refused to investigate the farm murder problem. She's refused to condemn Cyril Ramaphosa on his corruption and incompetency. And Cyril Ramaphosa still bashes the United States every chance he gets, and he has still not even agreed to meet with Lana Marks. Lana Marks, during her whole tenure as ambassador to South Africa, has not been able to meet Cyril Ramaphosa, but Lana Marks is still praising him. And Lana Marks needed to be recalled a long time ago as U.S. ambassador to South Africa. Well, recently she was commemorating violence against women and violence that happened in South Africa. Well, she said that Amy Beale was caught in a crossfire, and Chris White mentions it in the video, and was caught in a crossfire, and she died. And Amy Beale was a U.S. grad student studying in South Africa, and she was studying violence against women in South Africa in 1993. Amy Beale was pulled out of her car, raped, and stoned to death because she was white. Because she was blonde hair and blue eyes. It was not caught in a crossfire. It was a racist attack. And the Clinton administration's response back in that day was very terrible and really didn't do the daughter justice. So Lana Marks ought to be ashamed for saying that Amy Beale got caught in a crossfire. No, she didn't get caught in a crossfire. She was brutally murdered by black racist bigots. Plain and simple. Cameron Engelbrecht says, my favorite superstar. Back when I was following WWE, I liked Kane, I liked The Undertaker, and I liked Stone Cold Steve Austin. Kane is now a mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. His real name's Glenn Jacobs, and as a Republican, and he's actually doing a good job as mayor. And I remember watching the movies See No Evil and See No Evil 2 when Kane starred as the villain, and I thought they were pretty good movies. So I really liked Kane. I recommend that you guys check out See No Evil. It's a really good horror movie, actually. I'd highly recommend it. Leanne Prentice says, Brett farm murders seem to have gone quiet. Haven't seen any news lately. I pray so earnestly for them and their workers. I agree, because no farmer, no food. When the farmer gets killed, the workers lose their job, unless the kids know how to farm and take over the farm. And the farm murders are just typically brutal. Now, since the lockdown, yes, the farm murders have gradually decreased, and I hope they go away. And Leanne Prentice said, love The Undertaker. Yeah, I thought he was pretty cool. I like Stone Cold Steve Austin, when he was wrestling. But like I said, I haven't watched it in forever, so I haven't been keeping up with it. But I do know Glenn Jacobs has been a good mayor from Knoxville, Tennessee, formerly known as Kane. Which was pretty cool. But what about you guys? Cameron Engelbert, who was your favorite WWE superstar? I ask you, who was your favorite WWE superstar? Cameron Engelbert said, rest in peace. That was a slogan by The Undertaker. I also like The Rock. The Rock has been a really good actor. He's now an actor, not a wrestler. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He has done a good job in several movies, and I can't think of all of them off the top of my head right now. But he has done an excellent job in several movies. Doom, Scorpion King. I think he was in Fast and the Furious one time. I mean, he has become a legend in Hollywood. And so, yeah. So, like I said, I really... Walking Tall. Walking Tall was the best movie that The Rock was in. He played Sheriff Buford He played Sheriff Chris Vaughn, who stopped the mob from running his town anymore, and it was really cool. It was actually loosely based on what happened in Mississippi, well, in Tennessee, right on the Mississippi-Tennessee line, with Sheriff Buford Pusser. Sheriff Buford Pusser was a real guy that stopped the Dixie Mafia from running his town. He was a lawman, and he stopped the Dixie Mafia from running his town in McNairy County, Tennessee. And that was the movie. The movie The Rock was in, as Sheriff Chris Vaughn, was loosely based on that true story. Amber Engelbrecht said his favorite was formerly Stone Cold Steve Austin, and his favorite now is Drew McIntyre. Gotcha. Awesome. I know the WWE has came to South Africa before. I don't know if they still do. But yeah, Leanne Prentice says The Rock truly rocked. Yes, and he rocks really good in his movies, where he is like an excellent actor. And I firmly believe that you guys should check out his movie. And like I said, the best movie I thought that he was in was a movie called Walking Tall, and I highly recommend that movie. Travel to South Africa, as many of you guys know, has been banned. Or travel to and from South Africa. Emirates Airlines has stopped flying to South Africa. So is Lufthansa as well. And there was one other airline. Oh, KLM, which is a Dutch airline. They've stopped flying to South Africa, so many South Africans abroad are just stuck right now, particularly in South Korea, because when you go into South Korea, you fly, usually Emirates Airlines, you fly from the UAE, then back to South Africa, and the same as going back to South Korea. So a lot of South African English teachers right now in South Korea are basically stuck during this COVID-19 crisis. So yeah, basically that's what's going on. Cameron Engelbrecht, Leanne Prentice, thank you guys for tuning in. There's 2 other viewers here. We got 3 likes right here. Thank you guys very much. Last time I checked, I have 911 subscribers. Thank you very much. Right now, we've had 5 people tune in and 4 likes. Again, thank you guys very much. One more thing. The SABC has recently lied to you guys. The SABC lies all the time, and it's a very biased network. And you guys already know that. Yesterday, January 17th, was the 60th anniversary of Patrice Lumumba's assassination. And while Lumumba should have not been assassinated by Katanga rebels and Belgian mercenaries, and the American CIA knew about it, while that shouldn't have necessarily happened, he was a dictator. When he ruled the Democratic Republic of Congo, he would not allow Katanga to have its independence. And that's one reason he threatened to bring the Soviet army into the Congo, was to suppress Katanga's call for independence. And the Katanga region is different from all areas of the Congo in culture, and Katanga wanted their own way, but Patrice Lumumba wouldn't allow it. And his dumb ass sent airborne paratroopers to a village that they thought was Katanga, but it was a very pro-Lumumba village, but it ain't pro-Lumumba right now, because when the troops got to the village, they raped the women, they killed a lot of the children, and tied the men up and forced the men to watch, then killed them. Some were left alive. But that's what happened, and Patrice Lumumba just outright refused to give the Katanga its independence, but then he was lauded as a hero on the SABC, and that's the SABC for you. Thanks, Brett. We'll check out Walking Tall out again. Leanne Prentice, thank you very much for being here, and cheers to you as well. Thank you guys very much. I'm going to go about 12 more minutes. 7 of you guys have tuned in, and there are 5 likes right here. Yeah, the current situation, there's 6 likes now. Thank you guys very much. And like I said, I'll be glad when Lana Marks is not an ambassador anymore. She has not been an effective ambassador, and I'll apologize to you guys. The United States needed to send a better ambassador to represent American interest, and the farm murders were not brought up, and it was just a sad, sick situation, and nor was Ramaphosa's corruption or Ramaphosa's anti-Americanism and Ramaphosa's cozying up to China. It was just a sad, sick, and sadistic situation. Okay. Trying to think what else. If you guys want to speak in the chat, just go ahead. I'm trying to remember any more topics that I needed to cover, and I covered South Africa's extensive relationship with China and how it's going to be disastrous for all South Africans if that relationship continues, by the way. And it's going to be disastrous for all South Africans. I talked about that. I talked about how Lana Marks should not be ambassador to South Africa much longer, and hopefully she won't be. And then we talked about WWE a little bit, and then talked about the SABC lying to you guys about Patrice Lumumba. Oh, talk about the load shedding. How are you guys doing on the load shedding? Are you guys having rolling blackouts right now? How are you guys handling the load shedding right now with Eskom's ineptness? And I have talked about this in previous streams before. There's only two solutions to do that. Either Eskom gets privatized completely, or they allow other electric companies to open up so Eskom won't have the monopoly. Otherwise, those rolling blackouts for you guys are going to continue. And I really don't think that the situation is going to change very much. I really don't think that it's going to. You don't get us started on that. Yeah, well, it needs to be brought up, and there needs to be petitions, and there needs to be action taken that there is protest against Eskom, because all that happens right now is the government keeps pouring more money into it, but then the Eskom CEOs keep embezzling the money, and the problems aren't fixed, and then load shedding occurs where there's just rolling blackouts about 2 to 3 times a year. And and many of you guys, I mean, have had to miss work, or when you go to work, you can't really get a lot done because your computer's not working because I can't remember what it says, can't wait to move to the USA. Yeah, a lot of South Africans are immigrating. A lot of South Africans are leaving now every chance they get, particularly ones that are dentists, doctors, that awful Eskom, too bad, 6 hours straight load shedding yesterday. 2 hours on the off again, 2 hours here in Durban, South Africa. Yeah, I mean, it's Eskom's a nationwide problem, and the ANC, it started in 1921, but the ANC has not fixed the problem. The ANC's actually made it worse. And like I said, I mean, I have electricity right now, and blackouts rarely occur in my country, if ever. And you guys seem to have that about 2 to 3 times a year. And you can't get your work done. You may not can go to work. Your kids may not can go to school. Why not flip your phone? Because right now, the Undertaker's hat says, hi, Bruce says, why not flip your phone? Good question, Brew. Right now, I've tried to do that, but it also says orientation is blocked. Rotate device back. So that's kind of, I know you can only, I know it's frustrating, and I know, like I said, it's very frustrating, and it's just a sad situation where you only get to see part of my face like this because orientation's blocked on my phone right now. See, I just not really able to do anything. So yeah, good luck with Eskom. Look, I don't advise you guys to vote for the FF Plus. The FF Plus really doesn't have a key mission, and all the FF Plus does is take away votes from the DA and makes the DA less effective as an opposition party. The DA has to be the main opposition party to go after the ANC, because the FF Plus is not going to get the effective black and colored votes like the DA will. And there's a lot that I don't agree with the DA on, but they're a better alternative than the ANC. The Undertaker's hat says, hi, Brett. Hi, Undertaker's hat. And Brew, what's going on? How are you? So like I said, I think voting FF Plus is a dead end, and I really don't think that voting FF Plus is going to solve many of your problems. I mean, the FF Plus, they're active come election time, but then after election time, they just kind of seem to, like, what do you call it? Like, they just disappear off the map. They just disappear off the map, unfortunately. If you guys are looking at leaving South Africa temporarily, not now because of the COVID crisis, but as I pointed out before, go try to teach English in South Korea if the COVID ever gets better. It's a safe place. You can walk most places at 3 a.m., something you can't do in South Africa or the USA pretty much. And I recommend that you guys do teach at a public school or something with the government. Some of those private English schools, Hagwons, can be shady and not pay you, or like work you more than the contract says. But typically public schools are a pretty safe and non-corrupt environment. And you guys, like I said, you'll have work, something a lot of you guys may not have in South Africa at the moment. As a foreigner, because South Korea is such a homogeneous nation, I wouldn't recommend staying there forever, but it's definitely somewhere good to stay about 2 to 3 years of your life, or a year. All right, well, look, Chris White is about to stream, guys. He's about to have his Night Owls edition in about 3 to 5 minutes, so thanks to everybody who has tuned in. thank you guys. Like I said, thank you guys for tuning in. Covered all that I wanted to cover today on this. And like I said, just whatever party you vote for, just please petition the government to take a tougher stance on China and not to have the stance that the ANC has on China, where it's a one-sided trade relationship and it's not affecting, it's not good for South Africans. I recommend, before I let you guys go, I'm gonna show you guys the China Uncensored video about it, and I'm gonna recommend that you guys, check it out. So just hang on one second. I'm gonna post it right here. I'm gonna type in China Uncensored, and then I'm gonna type in the link. Type in China Uncensored South Africa and show you guys the link. So just please hang on one second. Bear with me. So here you go. All right. I just posted the link right there. I recommend that you guys check it out. And it shows you how damaging a lot of that trade, a lot of the unbalance that the relationship is right now that China has with South Africa, and how China is abusing, and exploiting you guys. So anyways, hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless. And bye-bye. Bye-bye.